Yeah, so let's start with what we do and what Grail does. We at Illumina provide the machines that allow people to do genomic sequencing. So you put in blood or saliva samples, we tell you what DNA is in there. Our products are used, for example, to fight the pandemic. So a lot of the news you see about new variants emerging, well, the sequencing of that virus a lot of it is done on our machines. We're also used in cancer hospitals. We're used to diagnose, to match cancer patients with therapies or diagnose kids with genetic diseases. So we're a leader in providing genomic sequencing solutions. We invented the technology that Grail uses, way back in our labs, where we first started to see genomic biomarkers in blood for cancer. And we knew that could be a really big discovery in terms of helping improve the survivability for people who had cancer. And so back in 2016, we spun the technology out to raise the $2 billion it took, almost $2 billion, to do the very large clinical studies to develop that test. Now, that test came out onto the market earlier in June, and it's a blood test, a simple blood draw that looks for 50 cancers across all stages in your blood. That's a really big step forward in the fight against cancer.
Sure. 10
million people a year die of cancer, and we know that if you catch cancers early, your odds of surviving are much higher than if you catch it later. And so we're at the stage now where we want to scale access to this test, make it broadly available, help get reimbursement for the test, and make it available to people.
So the Illumina stock is trading around $460 today. The analyst community itself seems a little bit concerned about all of these moves. For instance, Leerink downgraded the stock to perform from outperform, reduced their price target to $425 from $510. What are the antitrust concerns that U.S. or European officials would have here?
So we're currently working through the regulatory review process. There is a review we're working on with the European Commission. There really isn't any obstacle to us closing the deal in the U.S. We are working with an administrative review in the FTC, but there isn't really an obstacle to us closing here in the U.S. right now. So it really is the process we're going through with the European Commission. And so where we are with that process is, we expect a decision from the European review process to come in. Initially, it was expected to come in at the end of this year. It now looks like it'll come in Q1 of next year. And there are two processes underway. One is a regulatory review process, a phase 2 process, where the decision comes in Q1. But we're also challenging in the European courts the jurisdiction of the European Commission to look at this deal. Grail has no business in Europe at all and no plans to get into Europe in the next few years. And so we're challenging the jurisdiction of the European Commission to look at these deals. Both of those decisions are expected to come in Q1. But the deal expires on December 20th. And so what we did here was we closed the acquisition, and we're holding it separate until we get those decisions from the European Commission in Q1.
So, Francis, I'm going to actually touch on the analyst reaction as well. Evercore's Vijay Kumar, he called it a maverick move. Maverick's not a term I really associate with biotech. The move seems to make a lot of sense on paper. Cases of cancer on the rise in 2020, 1.8 million cases of cancer. Of course, they do need diagnosis. But Kumar also said this has the potential to create more problems than actual solutions. I have to ask, just with the nature of Grail being a spinoff from your company, why not create a partnership? Why go through this effort to acquire it with these other concerns?
Yeah, so today the Grail test is available, I said, and it costs about $1,000 for the blood test. And so there is a part of the population that can take advantage of that test, but a lot of the population just can't take advantage of a test that costs $1,000 each time. And so what we want to do is really help Grail by distributing it more broadly and working on getting reimbursement. We at Illumina have a terrific team that's been working on getting reimbursement for genomic tests for over 8 years now. And the work our team has done around the world has gotten reimbursement for over 1 billion people for a variety of genomic tests. And so what we want to do is distribute the test more broadly, so make it available around the U.S., but also we have products at Illumina in over 140 countries around the world. And so we can make the test available more broadly. We can scale it up more quickly because we have production labs around the world, and we can also work on getting reimbursement. Now, to do all of those things, we couldn't just license the technology. We need Grail to take advantage of all the different parts at Illumina. And so when we looked at the path forward, what we wanted to do was make sure that this deal had a day in court, that it was reviewed and we got to a decision, and that the decision wasn't made by just the deal timing out on December 20th. Given how many lives could be saved if we bought Grail, we estimate that if we accelerated reimbursement in the U.S. by just 1 year, over 10,000 American lives could be saved. And so given the stakes here, we felt a moral obligation to do what we could to make sure this deal got heard and that we got to a decision. And the way we did that then is acquired Grail and held it separate so we can still get the decision in Q1 and then be able to move forward.